الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحج أشهر معلومات فمن فرض فيهن الحج فلا رفث ولا فسوق ولا جدال في الحج وما تفعلوا من خير يعلمه الله وتزودوا فإن خير الزاد التقوى واتقون يا أولي الألباب. ليس عليكم جناح أن تبتغوا فضلا من ربكم فإذا أفضتم من عرفات فاذكروا الله عند المشعر الحرام واذكروه كما هداكم وإن كنتم من قبله لمن الضالين. ثم أفيضوا من حيث أفاض الناس واستغفروا الله إن الله غفور رحيم. فإذا قضيتم مناسككم فاذكروا الله كذكركم.
First of all, thank Allah Almighty that we are here today to listen and discuss an important pillar within the 5 pillars of Islam. This pillar is Al-Hajj. Al-Hajj is an obligatory pillar in Islam, but there are conditions attached to it. So Allah Almighty says in the Holy Quran, بعد أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم وَلِلَّهِ عَلَى النَّاسِ حِجُّ الْبَيْتِ مَنِ اسْتَطَاعَ إِلَيْهِ سَبِيلًا وَمَنْ كَفَرَ فَإِنَّ اللَّهَ غَنِيٌّ عَنِ الْعَالَمِينَ. Allah Almighty says, remember, O my servant, that pilgrimage to the house of Allah Almighty, to Mecca, also known and called or mentioned in the Holy Quran as Bakka. Bakka and Mecca are the same. Scholars explain that Allah Almighty mentioned Mecca and Bakka based on the backgrounds of different Arabs, where you have some Arabs who cannot pronounce the word M, like in Mecca, and they say what? Bakka. So Bakka and Mecca are the same thing, and we have it in my language and your language. If there's anybody who speaks Arabic here, will agree with me that the only time an Egyptian will pronounce the letter Ja is when he recites the Holy Quran. Jamal, he will say Gamal. But when he recites the Quran, he would not say Gamal. He would find a way and train himself to say the word or the letter Jamal. So Bakka and Mecca are the same. So Allah Almighty says that Hajj is a duty that mankind owes Allah Almighty. A duty that mankind owes Allah Almighty. But he puts a clause here. Man istata'a ilayhi sabila, for anyone who has the means to do so. For anyone who has the means to do so. And he goes on to say, as we explained earlier yesterday in our khutbah, وَمَنْ كَفَرَ, But whosoever refuses, decides not to perform Hajj. And I'm explaining again. The word kafara linguistically means to cover up. Linguistically, the word kafara means to cover up. So the kafara here means whosoever refuses to show the bounties of Allah Almighty, the money that Allah Almighty has given him, the health that Allah Almighty has given him. فَإِنَّ اللَّهَ غَنِيٌّ عَنِ الْعَالَمِينَ. Allah Almighty is self-sufficient. Whether you perform Hajj or you decide not to perform Hajj, is the same thing to Allah Almighty. So if the conditions are met to perform Hajj, you are required to perform Hajj, and we're going to explain the conditions. In the hadith of the Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the very popular hadith that we all know in the Arba'in al-Nawawi of Imam Nawawi. The second hadith, this individual came to the Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam and asked Prophet Muhammad, "Akhbirni an al-Islam, tell me about Islam." Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam responded where he said, you can refer to that hadith, al-Islamu an tashhada an la ilaha illallah wa anna Muhammadan Rasulullah, tuqimu as-salata wa tu'ti az-zakata wa sawma ramadan wa hujja al-bayt man istata'a ilayhi sabila. Again, Prophet Muhammad says here, to perform Hajj, Islam is built upon 5 pillars. Shahadatain, tashhadu an la ilaha illallah, to be a witness that there is no God but Allah, and to be a witness that Prophet Muhammad is his messenger. To pray 5 times a day, it is compulsory. To fast in the month of Ramadan, to give zakat if you have the means to do so, and at the end of it, he says, to perform Hajj if you have the means. So Allah, or the Holy Prophet Muhammad, has repeated and confirmed what Allah Almighty has said, لِمَنِ اسْتَطَاعَ إِلَيْهِ سَبِيلًا. So if you have the means, it becomes compulsory upon you. But if you refuse, you keep on complaining, I don't have the money, I don't have time, Allah Almighty says, you can decide to not to go. Allah Almighty is self-sufficient. He doesn't need your Hajj. He doesn't need his Hajj. He doesn't need my Hajj. We perform Hajj for our own good. And I'm going later to mention a couple of hadiths of the Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam that tells us that we fast, we perform Hajj, and when we perform Hajj, we do it for our own selves. The first hadith, Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam was reported to have said, Al-umratu ila al-umrati. The time space between one umrah and another. If I perform umrah now, and I perform umrah 6 months to come, it is a kafara, which means kafara, the word kafara means expiation. So whatever sins that I have committed in between the two will be forgiven. لما بينهما, for whatever is between them. وَالْحَجُّ الْمَبْرُورُ. Al-Hajj, and listen, there is a clause here, not every Hajj. Al-Hajj, al-Mabrur, an accepted Hajj. The Hajj that is performed in line with the commandment or how Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam performed it. Prophet Muhammad was reported to have said, لَيْسَ لَهُ جَزَاءٌ إِلَّا الْجَنَّةِ. There's a lot of jaza. The reward for an acceptable Hajj is what? Al-Jannah. 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 May Allah Almighty bless us with Al-Jannah. A Sahabi asked the Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, are we required? When Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam told the Sahaba, Ya ayyuhan nas, inna Allah kad farada alaykum al-hajj fahujju. Allah Almighty has made Hajj compulsory upon you. Perform Hajj. One of the Sahaba asked him, are we to perform Hajj every year? Do we have to perform Hajj? Prophet Muhammad ignored him. Sometimes Prophet does that. He doesn't want to give answer. And you ask questions and you keep on asking, لا تسألوا عن أشياء إن تبد لكم تسؤون. Do not keep on asking questions or questions that when the questions are explained, it will hurt you. Prophet Muhammad left it. And when he said that the third time, Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam said only once, لو قلت نعم لوجبت. If I had said that you have to perform Hajj every year, that would have become compulsory. So Hajj is compulsory upon an individual Muslim once during his lifetime. Yesterday I mentioned that Hajj, like Salat, is more practical than theory. You can read books, thousands of books. You can be a PhD holder in Islamic studies. If you memorize every dua and you are asked to go to Mecca, you may get lost. Somebody has to tell you where Arafah is, where Mina is, where Muzdalifah is, where do you bring the tawaf. You know theory in whatever you have read, but somebody needs to tell you, go this way. When you get to this place, you will see the direction of the black stone where you're supposed to stand and say Bismillahi, Allahu Akbar, and begin the tawaf. So since I have explained earlier a lot about Hajj, what we're going to do here today is to ride on board, and I will explain to you the practical way of performing Hajj. I remember I mentioned earlier that there are conditions attached to the performance of Hajj. There are conditions attached to the performance of Hajj. One has to be a Muslim. That's it. You have to be a Muslim. If a non-Muslim decides to follow us to Hajj, he's just wasting his time. Besides, he's not going to be issued visa anyway. He's not going to get the visa. So it's a condition for Muslims. Number two, one must be mentally sound. Because imagine somebody who cannot reason or is mentally sick, who cannot differentiate right from wrong, he falls in one of the categories of people that Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam mentioned in his hadith that rufi'a al-aqlam an thalath. The pen has been raised upon three people, and one of them is an individual who has lost his senses and he cannot think or reason. Another requirement that is worth mentioning is the financial means. You must have money to perform Hajj. When I say money, I mean halal money. You don't borrow money from people to perform Hajj. You don't swipe a credit card to perform Hajj. I remember when I used to be an agent and take people to Hajj, people call me and say, Imam, do you accept credit card? I said, no, it is cash or money order. I don't accept credit card. If you don't have the money, don't use credit card. Because credit card is a loan that you are taking and you are paying it back in the future with interest. So if you have to perform Hajj, you have to have the money. The security, health is also important. You have to be healthy. You have to be what? Healthy. So we mentioned a couple of things. Number one, Muslim. Number three, health. Number four, we said security, right? Number five, maturity. That person should have been a mature individual, because if a child performs Hajj, a child can perform Hajj, but when he attains the age of puberty, that individual needs to go and perform Hajj. It is very, very important also that we learn about Hajj, because there are rules and regulations governing this, and Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam was reported to have said in a very popular hadith, خُذُوا عَنِّي مَنَاسِكَكُمْ. Take your Hajj from me. Take your Hajj from me. Which means, perform Hajj in much the same way that you have seen me performing Hajj. And the same thing applies to Salat. Prophet Muhammad performed Salat in presence of his Sahaba, and he said to them, Sallu kama ra'aytumuni usalli. Pray as you have seen me pray. If you want to pray, or if I want to pray, let me use myself as an example. I have my own Sheikh, my teacher who taught me. I don't pray the way my Sheikh prayed, because that's why my Sheikh used to pray like this. Your Sheikh is not Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. If your Sheikh used to pray like that, or your teacher, please read and find out how Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam prayed. If you pray the way Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam prayed, that you are successful and your salah will be accepted. So we're going to look at, we cannot completely talk about everything or the way that Prophet Muhammad prayed, but the most important part of it, we're going to have it here, and inshallah we're going to learn much. Knowledge is important in the performance of Hajj. The reason why I say knowledge is a condition, it's very, very important in the performance of Hajj, is that there are some parts of Hajj, some rituals, that invalidate your Hajj. I'll give you an example. Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said in an hadith, Al-Hajju Arafah. It means standing. At Arafah. When I say standing at Arafah, I don't mean standing on the mountain where Prophet Muhammad stood, because there are 3-4 million people there. Don't insist that you have to stand on the mountain, because you are told that when you stand on the mountain, it's a tradition that when you get back home, you're going to be rich. There's no hadith that tells us that. That's a lie. I'm sorry if I've affected somebody, but that's what they say. May Allah Almighty protect us. So it's not. Because Prophet Muhammad stood on the mountain, he said, I have stood here. And everywhere here is Arafah. So the boundaries where you're supposed to stand, wherever you stand, you are on Arafah ground. Just make sure that you don't cross and stand outside the boundary. And even if you attempt to do that, there are police and imams and scouts. They will tell you, listen, you are crossing the boundary before the time set to go out. So please go back to the inside Arafah. When you intend to perform Hajj, you seek knowledge, I mentioned that. You need to know what kind of Hajj you want to perform. I've traveled with people to perform Hajj, and I was their guide, their imam leading them. What Hajj do you want to perform? I don't know. You don't know what kind of Hajj you want to perform. Thank God that inshallah we are together, we're going to figure out what kind of Hajj you want to perform. You need to know right from home. If you plan to perform Hajj next year, you need to start learning about Hajj today. Whether you are planning today or next year or 10 years to come, since it is one of the steps, obligatory steps of our religion, you need to learn it. So you need to know what kind of Hajj you want to perform. So let's look at the kinds of Hajj that we have in Islam, or Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam has told the Sahaba. Number one, we have Hajj Tamattu. We have number two, Ifrad, and we have number three, Qiran. What is Hajj Tamattu? Hajj Tamattu, it is to perform Hajj, Hajj and Umrah during the same time, during the same Hajj period. Hajj and Umrah together with a break. And I'm going to explain that. Which means you perform Hajj and Umrah in the same year, but there is a break between the Hajj and Umrah. Either you make the intention at the miqat, and I'm going to explain what miqat is. It is called the station, where you make the intention, where you cannot cross without making the intention, else you have violated one of the Hajj rituals, and you have to pay the penalty of sacrificing a lamb, a goat, or a sheep. You either perform Umrah upon arrival in Mecca, you remove the clothing, you go back to the normal life, and on the 8th of the Hijjah, you put on the 2 pieces of clothing again and make the intention to perform Hajj. That's one option. Or you arrive in Mecca late, you perform the Hajj. After performing the Hajj, you make intention to perform Umrah. Whichever option you take, that is okay. But that comes with a price, because when you perform Hajj Tamattu, you have to sacrifice an animal, or you pray 3 days during Hajj, and Sab'a is Rajatum, Tilka Asharatun Kamila. You fast 3 days in Mecca if you cannot afford, please. When Allah Almighty says if you cannot afford, it means you cannot afford. Don't buy gold and diamond and jalbab and clothing and everything with your money and say that I don't have $150 to sacrifice the lamb of the moon. There are 2 options. The first option is to slaughter the animal, sacrifice the animal. I've seen people going to Hajj with $5,000 and spend everything on shopping, and they don't want to spend $150 to buy a lamb, and they will say that we're going to fast. That is not right, because you are there for a purpose. Ifrad is to perform Hajj alone during the Hajj trip. Hajj alone, let's put a big shot. Alone. And Qiran is to perform Hajj and Umrah together without a break. Which means that if you put on the 4 pieces of clothing at miqat, you make intention to perform Hajj and Umrah together, you're not going to remove those pieces of clothing like tamattu. After performing the Umrah, you stay. In those 2 pieces of clothing, when I say stay in those pieces of clothing, it doesn't mean you cannot change them. You can remove them if it's dirty, you buy 2 of them, you put on another one, then you wash the other one. Or you send to the laundry. Okay, so you can do that. This one also requires sacrifice, and most of the time those people who perform this kind of Hajj, they come with their animals of slaughtering. I don't know how many people I've seen going from the US to Mecca to perform Hajj Quran, unless you have your own private jet that you can take your lamb and your goat and your camel and your cow together and take it over there, which is impossible. So I do believe that, I can tell you without a doubt, that 99% of the people who perform Hajj from the United States, they perform Hajj Tamattu, but you have the choice to do whatever you want to do. Ashhurul Hurum, the sacred months. You cannot just go and perform Hajj anytime you want. Hajj needs to be performed during a specific time known as Ashhurul Hurum. Or Hajj, that months of Hajj. Months of Hajj. The period of Hajj begins from the 1st of Shawwal. After the Eid, you can intend to go and perform Hajj. So it is Shawwal, the 10th month of Islamic calendar, Dhul Qa'dah, the 11th month of Islamic calendar, and up to the 10th of Dhul Hijjah, because Arafah falls on the 9th of Dhul Hijjah. And Al-Hajj, Arafah. If Arafah passes, the Hajj has ended. If you go to Hajj with your private jet and you land on the 10th of Dhul Hijjah, and Arafah is there, you don't have Hajj. You can make Umrah and inshallah pray, but you don't have Hajj. Or you get lost. Instead of going to Arafah, you go back to Mecca and stay in Haram. Bring them to the Arafah ground. You see, ambulance is parking. Sometimes there are people there. They put them in the ambulance with the doctors and nurses. They bring them to the ground and they sit there for sometimes 1 hour, 2 hours, sometimes even 1 hour, and they take them back to the hospital. They have performed Hajj. So far as they are there, even if they don't go to Muzdalifah, they have performed Hajj. But if they are not on the Arafah ground, they haven't performed Hajj. So you can make the intention from the 2nd of Shawwal to go to Hajj. And when you go to Hajj, there are people who come from Bangladesh, sometimes India, and sometimes even Egypt. Egypt is closer. On a boat, a ship. They leave early. Sometimes it takes them 2 months, 2 weeks, 3 weeks to get in there. So they leave early and they get to Mecca to perform Hajj. So Hajj is performed during this 3 months. As I said, Shawwal, the 10th month of Islamic calendar, Dhul Qa'dah, the 11th month of Islamic calendar, and Dhul Hijjah, the first 10 days of the 12th month of Islamic calendar. So now, we're going to talk about Miqat. But before we get there, how do we prepare for Hajj? I mentioned clearly that you need to have knowledge. Knowledge, I repeat again and again. When I say knowledge, you don't need to have PhD in Islamic studies. You don't need to have PhD in Islamic studies to perform Salat, right? Or to fast in the month of Ramadan. You just need to know the basics. What are the fard? What are the sunnah? What are the mustahab? These are the basics you know to know. How to make wudu. What are the sunnah of wudu? What are the fard of wudu? That is what you're supposed to know. What is qabli and ba'd? The basics. Before you perform Hajj, you need to know that. And I said, knowledge, and I repeat, knowledge, you have to know what kind of Hajj that you want to perform. So now we know the kind of Hajj that we want to perform. And we are traveling, since we are in the United States, we are traveling from the United States. One thing that we have to remember, where do we make intention? Where do you make the intention? The miqat means a station in English, and it is a location where a pilgrim cannot cross without making intention to perform Hajj or Umrah. If you cross that line, that boundary, and you get to Mecca, you have violated one of the Hajj rituals. As I said earlier, I repeated, you have to sacrifice a lamb as an expiation. If you are going from the United States, there's no way you can pass and land at the miqat, make intention, and go inside Mecca. You cross the miqat when you are in the plane. So scholars are able to locate and pinpoint that the miqat for the people of the United States and North America is Rabi'ah. So it is highly recommended that before you leave home, you do the necessary preparation. Number one, it is important that you make a sunnah shower. If possible, clip your nails, shave parts of the body that you're supposed to shave. You can use some perfume. After using the perfume, then you get to board the plane. You can put your two pieces of clothing as we're going to display. We don't have the right clothing, but we're going to use whatever we have available here. You put those two pieces of clothing we're going to use you today as an example. So you stand here. Okay. You're going to put on the ihram. You have two choices. Either you put on the two pieces of ihram at home, or you can have it in a small bag until you get on the plane, and before you cross the miqat, which is the station that you're not supposed to cross. It can be here, it can be there, it can be here, here, here. They most of the time announce on the plane that we are 5 minutes, most of the time 20 minutes away from the miqat, so it is time for you to make the intention if you want to. Most of the time in the plane that has 200-300 people, there are small toilet and bathroom there. If everybody has to go to the bathroom to clean himself and do all those things, it will take time to close the miqat. So most of the time, I put on my ihram either at home or at the airport. And I bought the plane with my ihram on me without making the intention. When you get closer to the miqat, can you bring one of those clothing there? We're going to try. Maybe you're going to HAJJ next year. That's how we used to do, inshallah. Okay, okay. Come closer here. Number one. You're supposed to tie or to put on the first piece of clothing behind you like that. That's the first part of it. Remember I said, clip your nails, shave, where you're supposed to shave. You can put on some perfume on your body before you put on the ihram. Before you put on the ihram. Because after the ihram, you cannot put cologne or lotion on the ihram. The next thing is, you have to remember, the brother has his shirt on him, but when you perform in HAJJ, you have to remove your shirt. You have to remove your pants, and you have to remove your underwear. It has to be only this piece of clothing that you are going to have and nothing else. Somebody may ask, why? I say, why? It has a long tail. So it's a long answer to ask. We don't have any answer to that. In Islam, there's nothing like logic. Why do we do that? I tell people, do you have any reason for that? Listen, if you want to question everything, there are things that I cannot explain. And remember what I read about Umar ibn Khattab. He said if his reasoning, when you perform sun ablution, thermal, he said, you step on your foot, you're supposed to rub here, right? But what do? We rub on top here. Is there any reason for that? No. There are lots of things nobody can explain. So, sami'na wa ata'na. We listen and we obey. And Prophet Muhammad said, Khuzu anni manasikakum. Take your heart from me. So we're taking it from him. It's beyond logic. So when you have this is the first part. Do we have another one? Bring the other one too. We can use the other one too. Good. Remember, if you see, look at this. This one has some stitches, but the normal ihram has no stitches. You cannot have anything that has those kind of stitches in there. Look at me, sandals one day Bashuba outside. Could that be? Here's the second part of it. Let me use it first. I have to be sure it's okay. The second part is like this, right? Where's the left? Okay, let me try it on myself first. Like this. Look at it and you do it yourself. Okay? So you can remember that. Because the right shoulder has to show. So let's put it that way. That, right? Okay. Like that. So you put on the right, cover the right shoulder. Okay, this one is okay. No, this one has stitches. I don't want that. It's flip-flop is okay, flip-flop. So this is how you dress when you get to the miqat. you have to show this part of the hand and take it. When you put on this, if you are performing Hajj Tamattu and you have decided to perform Umrah first, you make intention, Allahumma labbaika bi Umrah. Oh Allah, I have intended or I have responded to perform Umrah. Then right from there, and you have to say it with me, you begin the talbiyah, which is labbaik Allahumma labbaik. Respond with me. Labbaik Allahumma labbaik. Allah, please respond. لبيك لا شريك لك لبيك
لبيك لا شريك لك لبيك
إن الحمد والنعمة لك والملك لا شريك لك. So you remain in these 2 pieces of clothing and you have to use flip-flop. If you have the most expensive shoe in the world, designer shoe, you cannot wear it. Everybody has to wear the $5. It's 5 years, which is about $1.50. Even if you can perform $10,000 shoe, you wear the same thing. You cannot bring your own designer's flip-flop from anywhere because it will get lost and somebody will throw it away somewhere and you have to wear anything that is available. It has to be flip-flop and no stitching, and that is the sunnah of the Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. You have to wait for a while because you perform in Hajj, inshallah. So, if you put on this, your life is restricted. There are a lot of things that you cannot do. Number one, you cannot uproot trees. You cannot kill any animal. You cannot hunt. If you are a hunter from your village, then you see deer and all those things, and say, oh my God, if it were to be my village, I will run fast. No, you don't do that. You don't hunt, you don't kill anything. But a dangerous animal like snake, a lion, a scorpion that can hurt you, yes, you can protect yourself. That is in self-defense. You remain in these 2 pieces of clothing. You cannot officiate marriage. If you are the Grand Qadi of New York City and officiate thousands of marriage, you cannot officiate marriage if you are performing Hajj while you are in the state of Iran. You cannot marry either. If you travel with a wife, you cannot have intimacy. And you cannot be a wali, a guardian. Let's say you have a sister or a cousin or a mother that is traveling with you and somebody is interested in her, you cannot marry her out. You cannot get involved. Loud voice. One person can be saying, as I said, and you responded, and the rest of you responded. Or you can be saying it yourself, but it has to be in a loud voice. لا رفث ولا فسوق ولا جدال في الحج. No fighting. No argument. People can step on your toe. Let's say, you apologize, don't need to fight about it. Shaitan is there, is challenging. But whatever the condition is, you don't need to, I'm getting tired, but you still have to stand. I'll put this like this. So inshallah, I can move my hands. Sometimes I'm a teacher, so sometimes I like moving my hands to kind of feel comfortable, but you remain standing. So now, you remain in this 2 pieces of clothing until you get to Mecca. When you get to Mecca, to begin Tawaf, now need to cover the entire body. Some people will tell that you have to go through Babu Salam, the door of Salam. Yes, if you can go through that. But if we have 3 million, 4 million people, it's going to be very hard for all of us to go through that door. So whichever door that you can enter Victoire and you enter the Kaaba. When you get to Kaaba, 30 years ago, I went to Hajj, I was a student there. The first time I went there was in 1986. At that time, when you get to, you can have a seat while I'm explaining this, but I'll let you stand up again to explain something. When you get to Kaaba, there are doors. Let's say this is Kaaba, right? There are doors all here. The Kaaba is here. The black stone is here. There's a place here called Hijr Ismail. Another place here called Rukun Yamani. So let's put the name Kaaba, right? Now, Hijr Ismail Rukun Yamani. That's called the corner of Yamani. When you get inside, you try to find where the black stone is. You try to find where the black stone is. And now what they have done is, as I said, in 1986, they used to have a line here, which is brown. I still remember the color. So you see people trying to find the line, and people get hurt because people push and jump and hurt each other. So as things are developing, scholars are exploring other options. They realize that if they put a big pillar here, a tall one, so now they have a pillar here with a green light. This pillar has a green light. The entire pillar is a pillar like this. It's a green light. So wherever you are, you will see that pillar with that green light. So you don't need to be searching the floor. You look for it everywhere, you will see the green light, you know that is where you're supposed to go and stand. So even if you are at this door, you walk and find the green light, you walk and find the green light, then you come in and stand here. There's another thing that is missing here. Maqam Ibrahim. That was where Prophet Ibrahim stood and called after he had rebuilt the Kaaba. I'm using the word rebuilt, not built, because he never built Kaaba. He wasn't the first person who built Kaaba, he just rebuilt it. So we're going to talk about that maybe when we have time another time, inshallah. Okay, so when we get there, you stand wherever you stand. You don't need to get to the black stone and touch it. You don't need to, because 3 million people stand from wherever you are within this line. You can raise your hand, you say Allahu Akbar, you can say Bismillah, Allahu Akbar, then you start the tawaf. Start anywhere here, for example. You go like that. At the Hijr Ismail, now even 20, 30 years ago, you can go through here. But now they block it, you're not allowed, you have to go behind the Hijr Ismail. Then you go, keep on going. Place, you will see a lot of books outside in the market. The commercial books that people have created their own dua. You cannot establish any of those dua from the Prophet. You can create your own dua, whatever your problem is. We don't have the same problems. We have different problems. So if all of us create the same dua that talks about I want to get married, maybe you already have 4 wives. So what are you going? You're going to divorce one and So everybody has some problem. So you have to find your way and develop your own dua, or you can read the dua, because some of the dua are very, very good. It's okay, but don't make it a must that you have to read that dua. Okay, so let's start from there. The only authentic hadith that is reported by Prophet, was reported from the Prophet, was that when Prophet Muhammad gets to Rukun Yamani, between Rukun Yamani and the black stone, he will say, Rabbana atina fid dunya hasanatan wa fil akhirati hasanatan wa qina azaban nar. That is what we know Prophet Muhammad is doing. Rabbana atina fid dunya, let's repeat it. Rabbana atina fid dunya hasanatan wa fil akhirati hasanatan wa qina